Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzon. Here's what's coming up on the program right now. For what it considers an acceptable increase in tariff of electricity, Nigerian Labour Congress and their trade union counterpart picket offices of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and distribution companies nationwide. Pro-Fubara lawmakers led by Victor Okujumbo hold sitting at the River State Government House to screen commissioner nominee as transmitted by the state governor. And former River State Governor, Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, says he made a mistake in his choice of successor, promises to correct the error in the future. Thanks again for joining us on the program. At the moment, a meeting at the instance of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, is ongoing with the chairman and other political leaders of political parties at the INEC headquarters in Abuja. The meeting is the second quarterly meeting for the year 2024 and is happening barely 4 months of the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo State in September. The national chairman of the APC, that of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, the SDP, are some of the party chairmen in attendance. The electoral umpire has already published a final list of candidates and their running mates in the forthcoming Edo State election. The INEC chairman is asking the political parties to adhere strictly to all electoral guidelines for the exercise. It says the parties should finalize and submit names of the candidates before the 20th or May the 20th, when the portal for candidates in the forthcoming Ondo governorship election will also close. Now, busy is how today started off for members of the organized labor who are upset with the recent hike in the electricity tariff. To drive home demands for a reversal, comrades from the Nigerian Labour Congress and their trade union counterparts are on the picketing action at the offices of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, and distribution companies across the country. Led by the president of the NLC, Mr. Joe Ajero, they headed straight to the headquarters of NERC in Abuja, asking for an immediate reversal in the hike of electricity tariff, as Nigerian workers can no longer cope with the increase due to the current economic situation of the country. However, security agencies have cordoned off the entrance to the NERC office, denying the NLC leadership access into their premises. It's a similar scenario in Kaduna State, as the labor unions led by the Kaduna State TUC chairman Abdullahi Damfulani and his NLC counterpart Ayuba Suleiman barricaded the main gate of the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company and prevented staff of the company from gaining access into their offices. Carrying placards with different inscriptions and singing solidarity songs, the organized labor are unhappy with what they term a segregation by the electricity sector through class differentiation in power supply. And down south in Ondo State, the head office of the Benin's Electricity Distribution Company in Akure has been shut down. Some members of the TUC and the NLC in the state could, however, be seen in front of the office to register their displeasure. The same action is taking place in Kwara as well as other states of the Federation. It's a day to picket these offices, and their demand is quite simple: reverse the hike in electricity tariff that was recently approved by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, because the workers can no longer cope with these high numbers due to their current economic reality. Away from the labor issues, looking at things in hindsight, the minister of the FCT says he regrets supporting Governor Siminalayi Fubara in 2023 as his successor, describing it as a mistake. He said he's ready to correct it and he has apologized for it. Mr. Wike, who was speaking at a function in Ogubolo local government area in River State, apologized to the people of the local government for his role in the emergence of Mr. Fubara as the governor of Rivers State.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Wike, and senior officials of the ministry are meeting with members of the FCT chapter of the Real Estate Developers Association. While the association is seeking to forge a partnership with the FCT, the minister is wary of partnerships due to the rate of land litigation under the FCT administration.
What I've seen here of the minister, what has happened in previous administrations, is horrible. Horrible. So, it has as much one partnership in development, but we're very careful to know whether there are really two partners or those who want to swing government. Because you see a lot of litigations here and there. The litigation in FCT alone, because of land matters, is over 1,000.
Meanwhile, earlier in the day, a group under the aegis of Apol Traders Association barricaded the entrance of the FCT headquarters, alleging delayed allocation of land by previous FCT administration in 2015 for a permanent business environment after a lease agreement was signed and over 100 million naira was paid. The minister meets with the protesters and frowns at the action by the group, describing unplanned protest as anti-government.
I see this as being sponsored. People coming to tarnish the image of government as if nothing happened. You can see them dialogue. Yes. If government are made promise they will give the land, I look at the papers and I will ask questions. Why was this land not given if it was approved? And that's not a problem. So take your people away. That is the only way I can listen to you.
However, the minister assures the group of an interface when they follow due process in order to reach a resolution. From the nation's capital, Kumbi Aboluade, Channels Television News.
All right, so that was actually the issue around the FCT, but we're talking about apologies for that, by the way. We're talking about the statement he made yesterday in Ogubolo local government area as part of one of the things that has been going on in Rivers State. At some point, we're going to play that track in between as we continue with the conversation on the show. But he had spoken clearly that he regrets supporting Governor Siminala Fubara and he's going to correct that mistake in the future. Whatever that means, we're going to find out later. But in continuation of the political conundrum in Rivers State, the pro-Fubara lawmakers in the Rivers State House of Assembly are sitting at the moment to screen a commissioner nominee transmitted to them by the governor. Led by Victor Okojombo from Bonny State constituency, the House had communicated that a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dagogo Ibaroma, will be screened at 10 a.m. today and should furnish the lawmakers with his credentials during appearance. This is the latest twist in the assembly crisis after the Edison Elie group, House declared seats of the 26 lawmakers who defected to the APC vacant and also passed the 800 billion naira appropriation bill for the state. In turn, the Elie group suspended the main members, which has led to a back and forth over who has legitimacy at the moment. We're being joined on the program to make sense of this, what I want to call it, imbroglio, conundrum, theater of the absurd, as some people have called it. We don't know how to describe the situation in Rivers anymore. Inibe Effiong is a legal practitioner and a rights activist. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Is there a nomenclature in law right now to describe what is going on in Rivers State? So let me paint a simple picture. 26 members have left, as you know, so have defected. And one argument is that they are no longer members of the House. Edison here, who led the four to sign that appropriation, has now become a chief of staff. One of the members had died. The Ameule group has suspended this present group that is led by Okojombo. Does the Rivers State legislature have members? What is the law saying with all what that is playing out?
I think what is going on, rightfully so, maybe described as a grave constitutional crisis, one that is not necessarily without precedent, but one that is taking place, on a dimension that is not very common. What we have today in Rivers State is a situation where governance is almost being ground to a halt, because under our constitutional democracy, under our system of government, both at the federal and at the state level, there must at all times exist three organs of government, namely the legislature as established under Section 4 of the Constitution, the executive as established under Section 5, and the judiciary as established under Section 6 of the Constitution, both at the federal and at the state. So at all material times, at every time, you must have in existence those three arms of government. Now, we have a situation in Rivers State where the House of Assembly has now been forced into a position where Nigerians are now rightfully asking, who are the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly? Who is the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly? And which of the purported faction, because I frankly don't see a faction here, and I will get to that, has the constitutional mandate today to exercise the legislative functions of the state? Because the governor cannot run the state without the legislature. Bills have to be passed, nominations have to be confirmed, the budget has to be examined. Several functions that only Parliament can exercise cannot be carried out in the absence of a House of Assembly. Now, what is going on? What is going on is that we all saw, and it is not in doubt, that about 26 members, I think they are now 25, of the Rivers State House of Assembly had defected from the People's Democratic Party, the political party on whose platform they were elected, to the All Progressives Congress, the APC. Now, the Constitution is clear, and abundantly so, by virtue of Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G, that if you are a member of a House of Assembly and you become a member of a political party other than the one on which you were elected, and that your defection or cross-carpeting is not due to division, is not due to factionalization, or is not due to merger of your party with another party that you are defecting to, you cease to be a member of that House of Assembly. Now, these members who had defected, the majority of the members, on the basis of their defection, they had in law and in fact ceased to be members of the House of Assembly. But guess what? Under that provision, it is the responsibility of the Speaker of the House to give effect to the constitutional implication of defection, namely declaring those seats vacant. But we have a peculiar case in Rivers State, where the man who originally was elected as Speaker is also among those who had defected. So the implication in law is that the Constitution cannot, I repeat, operate in a manner that the intendment cannot be given effect to. What am I saying? Since the Speaker elected at the time, and this is my opinion, had also defected along with the other members, it can no longer be expected that a person who has lost his seat as a member, which enables him to be the Speaker, will now be the one to give effect to his own defection. So it now becomes the responsibility of the remaining members of the House of Assembly to now sit and then exercise the legislative functions of the House. Whether they have a quorum is a different matter which I'm going to address. But I just want to make it clearly that I do not think that those who had defected are still members of the House. And why am I saying so?
So let's go back to some of the issues. 1091G, which is referenced, has a proviso,
yes,
which is division, as you clearly spoken about, dichotomy or division, as you call it. They are relying on the fact that as at that material time, not arguing for them, I'm just putting facts in place. They are arguing as at that material time that the position of the national secretary of the party was in contention because the man had left his time, has gone to contest governorship in Imo State and all of that, which is why Amewule himself, reading their defection reason, is why they left the party. Does he hold water in law?
I'm not going to make
Because it's a subject under adjudication, so I'm careful around it.
I'm not going to make any magisterial or judicial pronouncement. I haven't seen the processes filed, so I'm not speaking to the lawsuit. But I'm speaking to you as a Nigerian and as a legal practitioner based on the facts in the public domain. To say that on the basis of the Supreme Court decision in 2015, in the case of Abegunde and Ondo State House of Assembly, the question or controversy as to what amounts to division, or what amounts to factionalization, or what amounts to polarization in the party, has been settled by the Supreme Court as far as back as 2015. And what did the Supreme Court say? That when you say there is division, when you say there is factionalization, it has to be of a character that the political party at the national level cannot even function as a party. So let us even assume, for argument's sake, that truly the office of the National Secretary was in contention. Was the office of the National Chairman in contention? Was the office of the Auditor in contention? Was the office of the Treasurer in contention? Was the office of the Financial Secretary in contention? Did the PDP cease to exist in the entire country or at the national level?
At face value, as a legal practitioner, who are the members of the Rivers State House of Assembly? Let me explain. 2 are already out. 1 is dead, 1 is the Chief of Staff.
Yes.
So we have 30, technically. Those other 2 have not been occupied by rerun or whatever form of election. So who are now the members in the eye of the law?
My position is that the 3 members who have not defected, right, they are the members known to law. They are the members cognizable by the Constitution. Because those who have defected, they have lost their position. And recall I said that granted that there is a proviso, that it is the Speaker who will give effect to the defection upon presentation of satisfactory evidence, either presented by the Speaker or a member. But this is a peculiar case where the man who, one of those who defected, was also the Speaker. So you cannot expect him, right? Lex non cogit ad impossibilia. The law does not compel the performance of the impossible. The Speaker having defected, he is not the one to give effect to. It is not left for the members who are now remaining to give effect to the Constitution.
It looks like almost turning the Constitution on its head. So let me speak to 2 things quickly. So does that give legitimacy to Edison Ehie House, what do you call it now, passing the appropriation bill of 800 billion naira, and now the Victor Okojombo's House screening a commissioner to be part of the cabinet, which we assume may likely be the next Attorney General. This is a senior advocate of Nigeria,
yes,
sitting down in front of 3 people or 4 people, don't know the number, and being screened out of a house of 32. I want you to make sense of what is going on.
I'm not sure if many people appreciate the significance of the office of the Attorney General. It is the only commissioner and ministerial position that is specifically created under the 1999 Constitution. Because when you swear in someone as Attorney General, he's also the Commissioner for Justice. You cannot run a state without an Attorney General, who is supposed to be the chief law officer of the state. The AG had resigned. So do you expect the governor to function without an Attorney General? Who is going to give legal advice to the government? Who is going to defend the government? The role of Attorney General is so sacrosanct. Now, do they have the quorum? Right? Because that is another matter.
Yes.
Section 106 of the Constitution says that the quorum of the House shall be 1/3 of all the members of the House. Now, what do we define as all the members? My expectation is that all members existing at the time in which the legislative function is being exercised. So if, as at today, all the members of the Rivers of Assembly existing are 3, then can the question be, will it be 1/3 or 3 of 3, or 1/3 upon the filling of the vacancy that emanates or arising from the defection? I would submit that since INEC has not conducted election to fill the vacant positions that have now been created on the basis of the illegal defection, and I say illegal based on my opinion, right? Not on the basis of what is before the court, that the House of Assembly that exists today is the one whose members have not defected, are the members who have not passed on, and those who have not resigned. So that, I would submit, is the House of Assembly today.
I know you're a lawyer, but I would like you to speak to the legal element of what is going to play out politically. On one hand, before it comes to the statement by former Governor Nyesom Wike, Siminala Fubara is from Opobo, Riverine.
Yes.
The Victor Okojombo is from Bonny Riverine area.
Yes.
And the deputy governor is from the upland. That's how Rivers politics is played. isn't this going to cause more problem for them taking this route?
I don't think it matters. But look, why? I don't think where they come from necessarily determines this. Because the position of chief of staff is entirely at the discretion of the governor. Right? It is not even subject.
I'm talking about this speaker. If you accept that Victor Okojumbo, this Okojumbo-led house.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Because
yes, I'm saying that. I'm saying that. I don't think it matters. Because the issue of eligibility of a person to be a speaker, as defined as stated and prescribed in the Constitution, is that the speaker shall be elected from among the members of the House, without necessarily having regards to what part of the state.
Although we didn't see the election, we must put that on record. We didn't see those elections.
But suffice it to say that I have cited, because in this conversation, we must also inform the public that there is today a subsisting order given by the High Court of Rivers State on the 10th of May, restraining the 25 members, right, from parading themselves as lawmakers or from even purporting to exercise any legislative function.
If we go to ex parte order, interim injunction, there's an avalanche of it. In fact, on this Rivers case, there was a case in Abuja where one order was gotten on the same building at the top floor, and another order was given on the next floor, and they are all concurrent jurisdiction.
Which is sad.
Which is unfortunate. We also see that former Governor Nyesom Wike has said he made a mistake in choosing Fubara as his successor, and he's going to correct it.
Yes.
Well, what do you think his supporters will interpret that to mean?
I think that statement by Mr. Wike goes to show how decayed, how fundamentally flawed our politics is. Let us not deceive ourselves. We are speaking about a man who was governor for 8 years, was not known to condone any form of opposition. So when one person comes out and says, I regret the role I played, or I regret making you my successor, shouldn't it have been the electorates of Rivers State that should have determined who should succeed him? And Wike is the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, right? A quasi-governor, if I should use that expression. Because as minister of the FCT, he is answerable to the president. He performs, the president delegates his responsibility to govern the FCT to the minister. So Wike is, in some shape, the 37th governor of Nigeria. And Abuja today has security challenges. Abuja today has issue with transportation. Abuja today has issue with social services and amenities, which should occupy his time. Where does he have the time? To be going to Port Harcourt every weekend, every now and then, to be fighting with the man that he has, in his words, made his successor. What is this about? What is the fight between them about? Are they quarreling about road construction? I haven't heard that. Is the disagreement about hospitals? I haven't heard that. Is it even about funding of institutions of the River State? I haven't heard that. This is just a disagreement between a godfather and an estranged political godson. And I am saying that in the midst of that crisis, in the midst of that politics, the welfare of Rivers people should take preeminence. And the Constitution must also be respected in the process. So let Wike stop speaking as if he just used a pen and then wrote the name of Fubara and gave INEC to declare. Because this is also an indictment on INEC, that one individual is now basically laying claim to the emergence of a governor of a state.
It's his claim. INEC has not said anything. It's his claim. He has the right to say what he has to say. We must say that. INEC will respond when they want to respond. But I must thank you. The reason why we had to bring lawyers, and we'll continue to bring you lawyers to this issue, because we know that behind the scene, legal advisors are advising all sides.
Yes.
And we must not be in a situation where the legal or the Constitution is turned on its head. But we must thank you for your perspective. Because the Rivers case is indeed a unique situation.
Yes.
Legal practitioner, rights activist, Mr. Enibe Effiong, thank you for coming on the program.
My pleasure. Thank you.
As always.
Thank you.
Oh boy, with Rivers politics, we say you can't blink, because if you blink, you may lose that fight. But let's see how it plays out eventually. We'll continue to track and watch what plays out at the end of the day. But let's move on now to tell you that the management of the National Identity Management Commission, that's NIMC, is assuring Nigerians of the security of their data and better service delivery in the nearest future. The Director General of the Commission told Channels Television that the agency is working to ensure that its staff are properly equipped to deliver the mandate in a secure and effective manner. According to Mrs. Coker, the tools that the Commission has been using are as old as 2011, but that is about to change.
Funding is a huge part of it, okay? So we need to be able to replace all of these things. A lot of the offices at the moment are not conducive enough for people to be able to obviously carry out their daily duties. But so far so good. We have been able to weather the storm, and we're forging ahead, and we're addressing all of these areas. So in terms of funding and in terms of looking at how we're going to ensure that we're able to obviously give the office a new facelift, and also, you know, give us a positive image out there, and ensure that people have working tools and they have a conducive environment to be able to carry out their daily duties. We're also looking into that. So for me, staff welfare is very, very key. And I always tell people that for you to be able to get the best out of somebody, you need to make sure that they are empowered with all the working tools that they need for you to be able to see them perform optimally on the job.
Well, you can catch that conversation later tonight at 9 p.m. on Newsnight right here on Channels Television. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Join us again. The Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, is calling on Nigerian youth to embrace the power of technology and innovation in the mineral sector, particularly in lithium battery processing, to drive economic growth and propel Nigeria towards a brighter future. Senator Akpabio made the call at the commissioning of Nigeria's first lithium processing plant in Nasarawa State. The $100 million plant has an annual capacity of 1 million metric tons of lithium and is part of activities ushering in the second edition of the Nasarawa Investment Summit 2024. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Ozanga. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics.